Hermes Trismegistus, a man who lived during the reign of the Egyptian gods, who became a deity and was worshipped for 7,000 years. He's also known as Thoth. And Thoth the Atlantean wrote the Emerald Tablets, and you'll find a playlist of those Emerald Tablets that I've made videos for you. I'm also, of course, narrating them. Amazing philosophy, and even more exceptional and amazing, a very advanced technology. They had interstellar flight, and they also were able to switch from one dimension to another. Can you imagine them appearing right before you and then disappearing the split second later? They knew they were abusing the commandments of the supreme deity, the supreme God, and he states that it was just a matter of time before God put an end to Atlantis, because they were misusing their high technology to the detriment of humans. A lot of Atlanteans left Atlantis before its destruction and set up new cities in other areas of the world. This is what he claims in the Emerald Tablets. And the first thing that they did was they built pyramids. He credits himself with the Giza Pyramid Plateau, and he says that in that area he has buried one of his spaceships underneath a sphinx. He doesn't tell us how many sphinx there were. I would advise you to listen to those Emerald Tablets, the playlist I have for you. It's amazing. You can do it as you're exercising, as you're cleaning the house, or just relaxing, or driving your car, whatever. It's worth it, because you'll understand why they were turned into deities, these Atlanteans. It was basically because of their very advanced technology. So, Hermes Trismegistus, known as Thoth. Since the appearance of the first myths and legends in different countries, there has been a clear pattern of worship of all kinds of gods, and you can argue for days whether they really were gods or aliens, or maybe all together at once. But one thing is for sure, people revered them and brought them gifts. One of these deities was the Egyptian god Thoth, also known as Hermes Trismegistus, which is, of course, a Greek name. Trismegistus means thrice huge, great, in other words, or Atlas, as he was also called. Now, according to ancient legends, after the death of the destruction of Atlantis, only a small group of people were able to escape. They scattered all over the world. Part led by Hermes fell into the lands of Egypt. It was here that he received his divine power and ruled Egypt for about 7,000 years. Many may have a simple question: was he not a god before? Let's remember that the Sumerian king lists these various kings that used to live for tens of thousands of years. Now, he says here he was not, and few people talk about this, but in order to understand this in more detail, we need to understand Hermes Trismegistus' biography. It will not be discovered for anyone that the inhabitants of Atlantis were a highly developed civilization with technologies that are beyond our control today. We don't have that technology that they had then. Most likely, Thoth was a priest in Atlantis and surpassed in his knowledge even the fellow tribesmen of the Atlanteans. At the same time, we draw your attention to the fact that he was a mortal, that is, he was a man. On all images, Thoth is depicted under the sun, the god Ra, thereby emphasizing that he is a mortal man, and the deity is higher than any of the people. According to legend, having got to Egypt with such a baggage of knowledge, he was noticed by the god Ra. Do not forget that the time of the appearance of Hermes in Egypt dates back to the time of the reign of the gods, and immediately made him his right hand. The main occupation of Hermes Trismegistus was the writing of books on astronomy, medicine, history, mathematics, and geometry. He brought writing to the lands of Egypt. Thoth has always been considered a conductor between ordinary people and the god Ra. It's not surprising that local Egyptians worshipped him on an equal footing with other deities. since Hermes showed himself only on this positive side, bringing knowledge and wisdom to people, and according to one version, it was he who became a chief engineer in the construction of the Egyptian pyramids. When referring to the emerald tablets, there is no mention of the acquisition of supernatural power by Thoth at the time of his arrival in the lands of Kem, nor of his meeting with the god Ra. God Ra was not a being of our dimension. They communicated only through the Pyramid of Light in Atlantis, as well as with many other masters. The very same power of Thoth, or Hermes Trismegistus, Thoth the Atlantean, was in his wand with a magic crystal which was later installed on the Pyramid of Giza, the Great Pyramid. At what exact moment did Hermes Trismegistus turn into a full-fledged god Thoth? In all the images of this deity, you can see an unusual object in his hands, nicknamed the caduceus. About the legend, as soon as Thoth took possession of this object, he gained immortality. They say that he ruled Egypt for more than 1 millennium. The person who has this wand in his hands gets access to 3 worlds at once, the gods, the dead, and the living. And during his reign, Thoth wrote dozens of multi-volume works, most of which have been lost for centuries. Some researchers claim that part of the knowledge of Hermes was safely hidden in the secret rooms of the Egyptian pyramids. Given the fact that the Egyptian authorities do not always meet archaeologists, there is a suspicion that the Egyptians discovered some artifacts and are studying them on their own. But questions regarding the figure of the god Thoth still remain. For example, if after receiving a magic wand he became immortal, then where did he go after millennia of rule? That's a good question, especially if they live for tens of thousands of years. And this is on Soul Ask. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.